You know what sound that is, folks. You betcha. We're back for another noon whistle. It's Tuesday. I'm Chris Trottier.
And I'm John Anzalone, and today we have as our guest Nate Hansen, 2003 graduate of Elkhorn Area School District. Thanks for coming, Nate. Also the owner of Hansen Screen Printing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We know you listen in once in a while, and it's great to have you as a guest, not just a listener. And tell everybody what you got going and have a little conversation. So appreciate your time.
Yeah. So I've owned Hansen Screen Printing since 2019, but I've been printing since I'd say 2001 off and on as a hobby. I learned in high school it was a class in art with Al Larson, and ever since then it was always kind of something that I enjoyed doing for friends or just as a hobby.
I didn't realize that the school was doing that in 2003 and before.
Yeah, I think shortly after me they stopped doing that, but I'm trying to not only for my benefit, but I'm trying for the kids and for curriculum. I'm trying to donate a bunch of equipment either to the middle school or the high school so I can pick kids out and bring them in here to work. So
that's great. So Nate, tell us how we were talking before the show as we do our kind of noon whistle prep, which unfortunately sometimes is better than the show. I'm just joking. How'd you get into the business? What's you graduated in 2003. Tell us about your journey as an employee working concrete and getting into this business.
Yeah, I did. So a week out of high school, I started doing masonry. I went right into the trades. Mainly because I wasn't the best student, and that was mainly on my end because I don't like to sit down for 8 hours and look at a book and read. I excelled in art. I excelled in television, video production stuff. But if I wasn't interested in it, I didn't want anything to do with it. So I went to the trades. I did masonry for 16, 17 years through the union. Drove around a lot, went to Chicago, Madison, Milwaukee. I've been all over the state doing that, but I decided I didn't want to break my body any longer. So I decided to put a pause on that career choice for a while. And I want to be 45, 50 years old and be able to walk. So
what type of work were you doing in the trade? You said concrete. Was it like flat work? Was it walls? What were you doing? Masonry?
I was doing masonry, so brick, block, stone, a lot of elevator, a lot of heavy lifting. So I was a mason tender, so that just you carry this and you set it over here, and then you carry this and you bring it over here. It was
mud's too wet, mud's too dry.
Yeah,
not just right.
Yeah, I learned really quick what a good work ethic meant. Because if you didn't have that, you did not have a job.
So looking back at school, Nate, do you myself included, like you think, I didn't really apply myself as much as I wanted to. Do you think that same way? If you could revisit high school again, was there anything you'd change?
That's a pretty good question. I guess it would all depend on what my future looked like at that time.
I guess what would you tell kids out there that don't see maybe a connection between high school and life?
Oh, then I would definitely use the opportunity that's given in front of you. I mean, this youth apprentice program is awesome that Elkhorn has, and school isn't for everybody. Two of my daughters that just graduated, Brooke tried school. She didn't like it. She's doing her own thing. Taylor, she doesn't want anything to do with school. She's doing whatever. As long as you have a work ethic and you're okay with failing and getting back on the horse and trying something new, you could be 50 years old and decide that you don't want to do what you're doing right now and do a career change. So being a high school kid at 17, 18 years old and having to choose what I want to do for the rest of my life, that's not really an answer that is easy for anybody, I think. Sure. So
you're right. I think that's common.
I guess you have to balance. how much debt do I want to be in 5 years versus how much money could I make in 5 years. So
Yeah.
for
And what do you want to
instance,
do?
Hey,
Right.
Nate, you've had youth apprentices the last couple of years. I mean, I'm assuming they were your kids.
Mhm.
But so what kind of you mentioned before the show that you're looking for another youth apprentice through the Department of Workforce Development. What do what do those kids do? And what how can we help you find those kids? What would engage them?
I'm looking for a kid that isn't afraid to get their hands dirty. And I guess what that means is just here's a task. This is these are the steps you need to take to get from A to B to C to D, and then your final product. It's a lot of production stuff that I'm looking for, but there's a lot involved. There's mechanic stuff involved. We have an automatic press. We've got manual presses that all need maintenance. So it's greasing equipment. It's just it's a lot of maintenance, but then it's also teaching them how to print and how to print the right way to do it. Yeah, so
That's a great opportunity for kids and for everybody who doesn't know about that. Yeah, Elkhorn's got a strong tradition in utilizing that program, and we have youth apprentices all over the county in manufacturing. We have them obviously at Hansen's Printing. We have them in accounting, marketing. So, please reach out and let us know if you're interested. So, if you have a student or your child is interested, so what are some things you're doing right now? What are some businesses you're working for? What's kind of your niche that sets you apart from other printing companies, Nate?
I try to, I guess, to answer that question, I would consider myself more of a building relationships versus pushing product. I've got a lot of good relationship with breweries, coffee shops, stuff like that in the surrounding area, Burlington, Delavan, public library in Delavan. It's a lot of relationship building, making sure the customers are getting what they want. It's important to set up an appointment to come in so they can actually feel the garment, so they can see what process we're going to use, whether it's a water-based ink, plastisol ink, discharge ink. There's a lot involved, and it's not just throwing a Gildan T-shirt out the door and saying, "Here you go, this is what you're getting." It's really breaking down from start to finish, giving the customer exactly what they want.
Well, that kind of leads me into, Nate, like you're a community guy. Like we've had a lot of conversations about community, and I think the relationship thing, leads into like you care about community and you care about the community you're in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my wife has a business too. She's a chiropractor here in town. So, both of us having businesses, it's good. It has its challenges at times, but
that's not always usual. Like sometimes people take a place to do business, they don't become a business within the community, I guess is maybe the way to look at it. That I'm here, I do my thing, but I'm not real interested in what's going on or what the communities looks like, or how involved it is. And I think, you've expressed like that's important to you.
Yeah, I feel like, especially Elkhorn, right now it might be a little bit difficult for a business to maybe open up or operate. Downtown, there's a lot of stuff that can change. It's, I guess I'm trying to find the right words to not offend or whatever. But I guess if you look at Burlington, you look at Delavan, you look at East Troy, you look at all these communities around us. Like how do we revitalize the community that we not only work in but also have our businesses in, and also something for our kids to do or have a job at, or let's get people walking around again and shopping. And how do we do that? And I don't really know if I have that answer, but yeah.
And I think we all want our communities to thrive, right? And to be places where they're destinations for people to go and look and shop and buy. And I think the more people that feel that way, the better off you are, the more opportunity you have to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think you mentioned a couple towns, Burlington, East Troy, Delavan. What have you seen as you've visited those towns that are that you've seen that are really appealing to draw people in?
I feel like there's a lot more there's less service industry. There's more retail. There's more places to go and do something with your family versus having an appointment to go somewhere and you go get your whatever appointment, your taxes done, your law firm, and then you leave the city limits. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I feel like there's a lot more of that stuff. And I see in Elkhorn there are some that are popping up, but I feel like it's a lot more service driven. Tattoo
I think
parlors,
it
hair
takes people
salons.
getting involved, like you and others, to go, a lot of us talk about it, but how many of us do something about it or engage in a group or committees or things like that or whatever to go, you know what, I want to help. I just don't want to talk about it. I want to help.
Yeah. And for me, my ideal spot would be like a downtown spot. I would like to do production stuff out the back end or basement or wherever, and then also have a retail space up front, not just for Elkhorn stuff, but because I don't really have the space for that here. I'm pretty crammed, but just to have other stuff on consignment or kind of make it something for the youth to come in and have a 4 to 8 job or I don't know. I don't really have that answer, but
you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about everything.
We need people.
Some days I'm thinking about burning this place to the ground, but
don't do that.
It's
we can't edit this, so don't stop. Don't stop.
Oh, I should call my insurance company and tell them that wasn't. Yeah.
That was a joke.
That was a joke. Yeah. No, but some days are better than others. A lot of times it's last minute customers that don't have artwork. That's a big thing. And a small local business in a community like this, I've got a sign behind my desk that says we are not Amazon. I feel like there's a lot of people that expect so I can get this in a couple of days, right? It's like, well, it's going to take 3 or 4 for your stuff to get here. And I've got a week and a half, 2 weeks of stuff already on the calendar. And the artwork you sent me is a picture of a drawing, hand-drawn something. It takes time to get something like that onto a screen and onto a computer and, onto a t-shirt. So, or hat, for instance, if you're doing embroidery. But
saying that,
there's a lot more involved.
You remind me of the t-shirt shops up in the Dells, right? Where it's a bunch of blank shirts and you go in and pick number E73 off the wall and say, I want it on this shirt.
I mean, that's fine. If you want to go home, wash it 3 times and have it fall off because a lot of times it's an $8 t-shirt that's heat pressed with a cheap vinyl that it is going to fall off and it's going to crack. And I guess, for me, it's finding the right process and the right application for whatever job they want. So it's time consuming and it's a lot of relationship building because we could do A or B.
Yeah.
A is better than B because of these reasons. And I think that's what sets, for me, the continued growth or helps me set that bar for myself and the employees because they know what they're going to get. And it's not, I want 100 shirts. I don't care what it is, which I get a lot of customers like that, but I need a little bit more information and I want to make sure they're getting what they want.
Well, boy, time flies, gentlemen, when you're having a great conversation. A little shout out here to Darcy Henriott, who liked us from Facebook. And before we wind down, any of you Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn followers, if you got any questions for Nate, please post those in the comments. And we are going to go to our closing segment, which is shout outs and thank you. John, you want to start us off? We'll go counterclockwise.
I'm going to call it a mention today. Not really a shout out, but a mention. It could be a shout out. And I just want people to know that when Annie's Burger Town had their fire, Nate jumped in quickly and swiftly and started a fundraiser that was absolutely huge, with people purchasing shirts to help support the Helpins and Annie's Burger Town. So congrats to you. Great job, Nate.
Yeah,
thank you.
I want to thank my daughter Taylor, who was working there and here, and Haley, she was also working there too. And all the staff at Annie's, because it was nice. I set the job up, and I left. I didn't do any of it. So they all printed all the shirts. They get all the credit. All I did was just give a platform for people to donate, and I think it was over $10,000 that we were able to give to Jeff and Maria to help with whatever they need help with. I don't care.
That's the beauty of our community, though. Like, that's it. That's community.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have Annie's shirts still here, so if you haven't picked it up, please come and pick it up and get it out of here, because I don't have space. So,
A little comment from Darcy. We appreciate the comments, and I'm going to thank John Handel. I'm going to thank Coach Handel. We're in the throes of August, and sports are starting, and you got people coming into town, and I happen to be watching a big youth football game with my son, a 9-year-old, and guess who's always at the facility? John Handel, supervising on a Saturday till 4:30. It's a great position. It's a thankless position, but I just want to thank him for all his time and dedication to creating those extracurricular opportunities. So, John, Nate, any closing words before we close the showdown and pull the hammer for the whistle here?
I don't think I had a slogan, but I guess it was already trademarked from last week. So
yeah. I would encourage you never to follow that, because that was about as good as you're ever going to hear. And for those of you who are wondering what we're talking about, please go back and watch our last week's show. And David Redford chiming in. Look at that.
Thank you.
Plus, David, by the way,
all right,
David, he is a youth apprentice over at Precision Plus in marketing. So thank you, David, for the shout out. He was also on a panel at a Wisconsin Manufacturing Commerce Foundation conference down in Lake Geneva this June. So, Nate, thanks for all you do. Thanks for your advocacy for the community. Thanks to all our guests.
Could I do a shout out too? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep it going.
Jessica Haggerty for I don't know if you guys saw that.
We did.
I print for some powerlifting here in Elkhorn, and I think she's world champion, right?
She is
a world champion. Yeah.
So yeah,
amazing.
Congrats,
John. What are you benching?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's time to go.
All right. Sounds good. All right. On that note, thanks, Nate. Everybody have a good day. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right. See you, everybody.
Thank you.